foreman. And Harry Peterson worked for him, and I got sent with the journeyman carpenter, Harry Peterson. And Harry and Pete had worked together before. I'm sure, you know, they were both probably in their, I'm going to say, late 50s then. So they knew one another. But they were stubborn, Swede and Norwegian, and they were stubborn. But anyway.
So you're a carpenter.
I'm carpenter apprentice. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So.
You get married.
There we go.
What? In 1960, you got married. Tell us about the wedding.
Well. I was married before I was a carpenter apprentice, so we'll have to back up a little bit.
That's okay. That's okay.
That's all right.
That's
what
all right.
do you want to know about the wedding?
Who was there? Where was it at?
Okay. Well,
what time of day was it?
Let me tell you. I'll tell you what I remember. Your mother and I. Of course, she wasn't your mother then, but she became your mother in the years to come. I took her down to a shoe store in downtown Omaha. She was going to buy some shoes, and she had that poor shoe salesman. He pulled every pair of shoes off of the shelf that was her size. And we walked out of there without her buying a thing. I'll never forget that. I thought that poor salesman. Well, anyway, we took off, went home. We had Bobby with us, and he wasn't a year old. He was born in September, and this was in February. I think it was February 17th. I was going to ask her to marry me on Valentine's Day, but I never got around to it. Dad had the ring. I bought the rings over in Yokosuka, I think in 1958. The first time we pulled into Yokosuka, went to Ship Store there, and bought rings, and I didn't have. I don't know if I even. Well, I guess I did have your mom in mind then, because I dated her a little bit, you know. So got the rings.
You knew there was going to be.
Took them that night. Took them that night that we went down to the shoe store.
Yeah.
So when we got home, I said to her, I said, I got something I want to ask you. And I pulled out that box of rings, you know, out of my pocket, and I opened them up and showed her the ring, and I was shoving it on her finger. Said, would you marry me? And I was going too slow for her, so she slipped it on the rest of her way. And she said, I want to go show Mom. Jumped out the car. Jumped out of the car and went in. And she went into her mom, and it was like this, son, you got to see this.
Okay.
She went into her mom. She had this, you know, on her hand. Her mom never noticed it.
Really?
Yeah, her mom never noticed it, so finally she just went, here, Mom. And her mom didn't act very excited about it, you know, not near as excited as Joni was, as your mom. So that was it. Then we set a date, and we knew we didn't want to wait too long. So we set the date for the 25th of June, and that was in February. And then we started working on started working on the wedding. And now that became a problem because the Catholic Church wanted me to be a Catholic. And I didn't want to be a Catholic. And I wasn't going to be a Catholic. I wouldn't have married your mom if she'd have insisted I was going to be a Catholic. I would not have. And so we went to marriage counseling, with the priest there at St. Peter and Paul. And when it came to the point of, are you going to raise your kids Catholic? And I never went with that, And I said, if you want to get married to the Catholic Church, I'll lie for you. At that point, I wasn't a born again Christian or anything. Now that would have really been a problem. So I said, yeah. And then I don't know if he didn't believe me, because I don't know what he said to your mother. But I can remember this. Thursday night before the wedding, she started to cry. I'm tired of lying to the priest, she said. I said, well, fine, marry him then. And that was just a couple of days before the wedding. So I meant it. I meant it. I meant it. I don't have nothing against Catholic people, but I sure don't, agree with the Catholic doctrine. There are parts that I just can't, I can't take. And I think that Tom Forl's mother is one of the finest people I know. And she prayed faithfully for me when I had cancer. So it is not the people, and I don't ever want anybody to think that I don't like Catholic people, because I do like Catholic people. But I don't like the doctrine of the Catholic Church.
Okay, so
she decided not to marry the priest. She said, go ahead and marry me. Okay?
I wonder how she did. I wonder how she thinks she did in balancing that out after 54 years.
I don't know, but he's dead and I'm still alive.
Okay, who all was at your wedding? Was it a good wedding? Was it anything exciting happen?
At the wedding?
Yeah, at the reception, I'm sorry.
Oh. At the reception. Well, there's pictures in there. Have you ever seen the pictures of our wedding reception?
Mm-hmm.
Dolores Johnson, our neighbor, she was there, and Mom and Dad, and Joan's stepdad, John Manage. He was a Bohemian, I think. So he got the band. He got the band for the wedding reception, and we had the wedding reception in our about 25th and.
I wonder if Dix Forel was in that band, because he was in a polka band. Was it a polka band?
Oh, I'm sure it was. You talking about Tom's?
Rich used to play drums in a polka band in South Omaha. I wonder if he did that.
I don't know.
But anyway,
look in the pictures, so we can see there.
Okay, so John Mantich got the band.
Mm-hmm. And it was fun. It was a fun wedding, fun reception, and like I say, looking at the pictures is fun.
So
your Uncle Al was there, and your Aunt Janie and Aunt Kathy and Char, and they were all, much younger kids, and Grandpa and Grandma Hall were there. They were still alive. Grandma Hall gave us $100. I remember that. They did all of them, and all of their grandkids that got married. And $100 back then was
a lot of money.
Well, it was a pretty good chunk.
Well, if you're making $54 a week at West, it was 2 weeks salary, so
No, Western Electric.
that's pretty good chunk.
So.
And that was at St. Peter and Paul, right, on
Yeah.
36th Street?
Yeah, it's in the old building though, the old church, not the one that they have now. Tom Forrell's, niece was working at that school for a while.
Okay, marriage. Got married. South Omaha, Catholic Church. Working for Kiewit. Where you get your first house? Tell us about that. That's the American dream, right?
Okay.
Owning your own home.
All right.
Where was that? Tell me about
Out
the
in
first
La Vista.
house. Okay.
Don Decker,
Do you remember the address?
7401 Joseph Avenue.
Josephine?
Joseph,
Okay.
block south of Josephine, so.
They had Joseph and Josephine
Yes.
right next to each other?
Yeah,
I wonder how much mail got mixed up there.
I don't know.
Okay. Okay, so the address again was what?
7401 Joseph Avenue, La Vista, Nebraska, 68127. Still there. I don't know if we had those kind of zip codes then. You know, I think it was just 681. I just probably, well, it's a little different though. I'm sure it was. I forget. I could look on some of
That's
those old
fine.
envelopes.
That's fine. So, was it a brand new house? Was it an existing house?
It was a brand new house. Nobody ever lived. In fact, it wasn't even built. Wasn't even built. We lived with your mother's parents, which was not my idea. Guess whose idea that was?
Mom's. Grandma's.
Grandma's.
Wow.
Grandma's.
Wanted to keep you under her thumb.
What's that?
She wanted to keep you under her thumb.
So that was what that was. Excuse